I'm at 125 South Miami Street in West Milton, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, um, mainly root intrusion, anything that would be of concern to the potential buyer. Our access point is a clean out on the right side of the house if you're facing the front of the house. And it comes out the right side. It's a PVC clean out. I've already taken a look in the basement. Everything is exposed except for where it comes through the side wall to get out to this clean out. So there's only a piece of PVC that goes through the wall, and then it comes directly out to this outside clean out. And so all the interior piping is above ground. And so we are going to push out until we can get to the main and try to take a look at this. So far I've been underwater the whole time. I don't know, I could be possibly pushing debris like toilet paper or something, but what I may have to do is put a standoff on the camera and try to rise it, try to get it to raise up a little bit so we can see, because this is pretty strange here that I am underwater the entire time here. So I'm going to keep pushing because I don't know if it goes out towards Miami or if it goes out towards the back. But it's kind of strange that I haven't been out of water the entire time. So I'm up against something. It may be a backup, but I can't see what it is. But this whole thing is holding water. And so whatever I did, I may have just shucked something loose, or possibly put, it almost feels like roots or something. The way it kind of caught my camera for a minute. Trying to do something to at least be able to drain this line. If I can maybe poke a little bit of a hole in it and get the line to drain, I'll possibly be able to see what's going on. But this thing was holding water the entire time I've been in it, and I've been in here for 60 feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to locate exactly where I am and see if we can find something. Hopefully all that stuff that you're seeing, all that movement, I have possibly at least poked a hole enough to where it's draining. It does look like an awful lot of movement, and so I'm going to, again, pause the video, locate where this is, and then we'll give it a minute and see if it drains down. Okay. Looks like I have got it to drain. You can see that there is what looks like a broken pipe here at a low spot, and there's some root intrusion. I don't know if I managed to get it to, obviously it drained, but I don't know what all I got rid of and how it managed to do that. It looks like it's still draining. You can see it all coming behind me, or coming from behind the camera. I did mark this spot as a spot where the line is broken. It's hard for me to tell what it is. I may be able to put a standoff on the camera and get it to go past that point, so I think we're going to try that. But at any rate, we'll say that on the video here we're at 59 feet. At 59 feet there is damage to the pipe that I believe is causing a backup, and that's why all this was full of water, and whatever I did, I poked something loose. and allowed the water to drain, because obviously we couldn't see any of this a minute ago. So looks like they replaced the line going through the wall and the interior stuff, and then once it got out here they did the it still has the old I believe it's clay. It's really hard to tell what the pipe material is because it's coated in stuff from the sewage being backed up, is what it looks like. It looked like clay when I was at that spot at 59 feet, but there's just this constant coating. Clay would be right for the era, but it could also be a couple different materials. It could be cast iron, but it doesn't look, it's so hard. I mean, this kind of looks like cast iron actually, because of how rough it is. So it could be cast iron all the way out. I'm seeing spots on the top of the pipe that look like cast iron. But that's definitely clay. There in the bottom, I believe. It's just all coated with material from the line being backed up, and then it just soaking on the line. So this was all full when we went in, and somehow I was able to pop whatever was there, pop it loose with my camera. This is all clay, and it looks like, you know, structurally it's intact. And here we are at the clean out. So it does look like structurally the line's intact. And the most normal thing we see out of clay would be root intrusion, and I didn't see any root intrusion. At least not much. There was a little tiny bit. But that was definitely backed up when I put my camera in, and I was able to get it to drain down. So again, I'm going to pause the video. We're going to put a little standoff on the front of this camera and see if we can get past that offset there at 59 feet, and we'll at least take a, we're right about the municipality line, right about at the street. We're in the curb. I did mark it with a depth. My marking is in green. Looks like there's been some previous marking. Could be for the water line, I'm not really sure. There's some green marking. Could be that they're doing some other construction. I'm not really sure, but at any rate, my mark is in green. There's some marks next to it in white, and I have the depth on it of 1 foot 11, I believe, which is the invert, which is the inside bottom of the pipe. That's actually where the camera's sitting, and so the top of the pipe would be roughly 1 foot 5, 1 foot 6, something like that. So again, I'm going to pause the video. We're going to put a little standoff on the front of this, see if we can get a little further. Okay, we've added a very small standoff. I don't want to put too big a piece on the front, just in case. We don't know what kind of condition that is underneath the water there. But we are going to push back out until we get to that 56 foot mark. We'll take a little bit better look at this, and I do believe that it does look like the line, you may have a little bit of root intrusion there at 16 feet. I don't know how many times this has been cleaned, but you can just see that black coating is just from the sewage sitting in the line. So jetting may be good, and this is the part where I kind of feel like it looks like cast iron. So it very well could be cast iron from about 27 feet. This definitely looks like cast iron. The blackened edges look like the oxidation of cast iron. So I think it's cast iron. And and then there's some clay, and then it goes into cast iron. I think that's what's happening here. See, I don't know, that looks like clay. A little bit of a bear mark. And here is the transition. Okay, I was able to get past that point. And then there's a lot of root intrusion at 60 feet. We have some, this is flat and filling up with sewage here too. Now, I don't know around here how much of this is the responsibility of the municipality. It'd be something that you would want to check into. It definitely needs to be cleaned. This is probably what all the stuff I broke loose with the camera earlier. Whatever this large chunk is, there's a piece. And so I'm trying to get it to going down the line, and maybe if I do this, it'll drain. But there's a bunch of buildup in here. And it looks like I see some. Kind of surprised that I haven't hit the sewer main yet, but I don't know where that is. This is all holding a lot of debris, and I am going to pause the video and I'm going to see where we are. I'm at 110 feet. I would think I'd almost have to be across the street at this point. And so I don't know where the sewer main is, but I may just be following in the, maybe this is a main. And once it gets out into the alley, this is all the municipality. I'm not really sure. It didn't look like there was anything else that tied into it, but we're going to pause and get a locate. Okay, I am like probably a good 50 feet past. Looks like this is a main. There's a manhole out in the street and it's lined up perfectly, so I don't know if I somehow missed a turn. I had some stuff in front of me and I pushed it through. And this looks like a pretty small pipe to be a main. It could be a 6-inch pipe, could be smaller, but I'm thinking somewhere around 50 feet. But this line is just packed full of sewage and debris. I did see a manhole up the street, and so we're going to pull back about 50 feet. I'm going up the street, so this can't be the lateral. There's just a lot of debris in here, and it doesn't look like it's flowing real well. I don't know how the municipality is around here, but there's no way that this could be the responsibility of the homeowner at this point, and so I'm going to pull back to the point where I believe the tap is. There is a lot of debris here. The line needs to be flushed. So here's this spot, and I don't know if this is where the main is. Looks like you've got a break or something here, and there's a lot of buildup right here. I'm gonna mark this spot because I believe this is buildup. This may be in the main, but I still want to, you know, because this felt really hard. It almost caught my camera. And this is a pretty big part, a piece of debris. So it may have been something that came out of this pipe and went into the main, and that's what I had broke loose when I was pushing. But we're going to see real quick where this is. Okay, we're still out in the street. Looks like the main, it's only 1'11" deep. But we are traveling down the street now, so. But it is marked, and it's just marked it with debris because I don't know, you know, how else to label that. Water may be getting by, but there's definitely a large piece of debris there, and looks like this turn. Maybe this is a high end of the main or something, because there's no indication of this being of this going into a main. It's just kind of turned and it's going down the street. So I would definitely contact the municipality about this and see kind of where we, you know, what you're responsible for, and what is the beginning of the main, and how all this is working, because you can see how much debris is in this line, and we were at about 75 feet, and that's where that, so 75 feet, there's a large bit of debris, and it's somewhat hard. I had problems getting my camera past it and back. And so, and then we turn here. And I don't see any tie-ins, but I'm going to pause the video here and get a locate just to kind of show how this is running. Alright, so 75 feet there's a bunch of debris, and I haven't seen any connection, so this may still be part of the lateral, and so I'm going to recommend that this be looked at by a licensed plumber and referred to the local municipality sewer department. And a little bit of roots there. I mean, the root intrusion, 59 feet is the biggest spot of root intrusion, and it's this looks like there's some broken pipe here. This is where a lot of the blockage is about 59 feet, and it looks like the bottom of the pipe is broken out, and that things were going to catch very easily. And then, so I'm going to recommend that a licensed plumber evaluate this, and also, again, talk to the municipality and see who owns the line when it enters the street, because this is something that you know, hopefully is on them, but the line is holding a lot of sewage, and I believe that they would be responsible for it, but it's just a weird it's a weird set of circumstances here, the way this line runs and how it connects, because I don't see it connecting to a main, but yet I'm right in line with some manholes that run down there. So I don't know if this is maybe turns into a high end of a main and continues down the street and goes into another manhole.
it's really hard to figure this one out without going down the road and pulling a bunch of manholes and doing all that. So we're going to finish pulling back, but this is marked. I'm going to mark it right now. It's marked UTP because I was unable to proceed at first, but I did get it passed here with the with that little piece of equipment on the front of the camera, the little standoff or whatever you want to call it.
And then, so we were able to get past it. But that's been holding sewage for quite a while, and I don't know if there was something that I did and moved that big chunk out of the way. But you can see, but all this black stuff that's covering the line is just all the sewage that has been sitting in this line for a very long time. And so we look at this, and you know, it could be cast iron, and that's why it looks so horrible. Along with that, because you know, cast iron does rust, and when it oxidizes it turns black, but it's really hard to tell. I think that it's cast iron in between here and that clay, but it's really hard to identify. See this part right here, this looks like cast iron, and it looks like rusty cast iron on the top of the pipe, and there's just so much soot stuff because of the oxidation of the cast iron. But then right here it kind of looks like clay. It's really hard to tell. Yeah, I think it's clay up until here, and then we go to cast iron. So from 26 feet to 59 feet is cast iron, which is probably a repair at some point years ago that was made. So like 26 to 59, and so that break is right at the connection between the old cast iron and the clay when they repaired it. So definitely a strange setup. We'll finish pulling back, and now it is clay again. Looks like a patch. And see, this is where I'm wondering if this is a connection to the main, and because this looks like a Y in right here. So what it could be is this is actually a main. I'm going to walk up I think this is Y-ing in, and there you only have a couple feet of pipe that is yours, but that the line was backing up. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to push it out to here, and I'm going to go look for a manhole real quick and see if this coming down the alley is a main that just goes out and turns. In which case it would be better for the homeowner, because they wouldn't have been responsible for where that backup was. Even though it was backing up into their lateral, the municipality should have to make a repair of that main. So maybe that's what these marks are out here. Maybe they're preparing for that, because there's some oops marks out here also. So I'm going to pause the video, and we're going to get a locate. Or I'm going to locate, and then I'm also going to take a look for the main. Alright, so what I think this is I think it's a Y-in, and there may have used to have been a connection from the top or something. I believe this is coming out of that, there's a line coming out of the school or something, but I have no way of knowing about what's going on right here as far as the municipality is concerned. So, I think that this is a Y-in. It really looks like a Y-in here, and I'm trying to get a good glimpse of it to make sure it's not a turn. But this looks like a Y-in, And so I think this is coming out of that school or the church. I think it's a school, coming down the alley, and then from that point, which I have marked as a Y, where the line comes in. And I think that possibly this house is only responsible for this like first 20 feet. At least on the video, it's showing I just cannot see whether or not that's a Y. I don't see any water going by, but it kind of looks like a turn. Yeah, it's so hard to see what's going on with the camera. I'm hoping that for the homeowner's sake that they're only responsible for that 24-foot mark. But the line was all blocked up when I got here, and so I think the major damage is there is at 59 feet that was causing the blockage. And once I punched through there, everything drained, and I was able to inspect the line. And that is marked with a UTP, but then it actually goes out and turns and goes down the street. So strange situation here, but so anyway, we're all the way back, and so the line looked good as far as like it's in one piece for the most part. You get out to about 26 feet or so, it switches over to cast iron, and then it's cast iron up to the 59-foot mark, and at that point it goes back into clay, and there's a broken section of clay there that looks like it was catching material. I'm not sure if it can be flushed out, but once it hits that point, it's going down the alley, and then it turns. If you're facing the house, it turns away from the house, so it turns right and goes down the street, 2 to 3 feet off the curb into the street. And so it should be the municipality's responsibility at that point, but I don't know how the area is. I'm going to refer this to a licensed plumber to evaluate, and also send it to the local sewer district and see what they're responsible for, and what the homeowner is, because this is going to need a repair at the very least at 59 feet to stop anything from building up in that area, because that's the spot that was broken and causing a backup, and then possibly to flush out the line out in the street, because it was full of a ton of debris and it's been backed up for probably quite a while. So that'll end the inspection at 125 South Miami Street.